we've covered the soul, the body. How would you say the spirit incorporates? It's the reason I say all that is it's even funny to think we're talking about gut health and you're like, listen to your gut. I know we're kind of mincing words there, but there is a spiritual component to this that really is connected. And in what ways would you guys say that the spirit is connected to this whole process of our bodies? Do you guys have thoughts on that? Or
you can go.
I do. The spirit of God living in us should help frame our mindset, right? And that's where I feel like health starts, is that we have to be spirit-led, which will allow us to have the right mindset for healing and health. Because if we believe that this is my lot to carry, this is my cross to carry, then God can't heal you, even if he's trying to, and you have all the right supplements and all the, everything, like organic, everything. But like your mindset is that this is your disease that you're going to live with. So it starts with mindset.
Well, it's like Romans, the renewing of our mind. And that all of this is connected. I agree with you. Everything flows out of what I think. Where we talked about it in church, what I believe determines what I think, and then what I think determines the decisions I make, and it all just becomes connected. But at the core of it all goes back to, what do I really believe about me and my relationship with the Lord? And when God created Adam, he breathed into him. So there's the breath of God, there's the spirit of God that's breathed into the human body. And so it's obviously all connected in that way.
One of the things that I thought about when you first talked about thoughts and feelings and produces really a result in us. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Emoto, Japanese doctor that did these experiments. Initially, they were on water crystals. But his whole point with his experiments were to teach us that thoughts are tangible and they produce tangible outcomes in our body, negatively or positively. And he repeated, and you can find this on YouTube. You can just look up Emoto rice experiment on YouTube, and you will see this repeated over and over. But what he did was he took cooked rice and he put it in 3 jars. And in one jar, he spoke negative over it every day. I have
seen this study,
You're ugly.
Put negative
words over it. The middle jar was neglected. The 3rd jar was spoken positive in life. And after about 5 days, this rice was black and molded.
Wow.
This rice was turning orangey because it was neglected. This was perfect.
I've seen that study.
And it is such a powerful demonstration of how our thoughts can manifest cellular invisible changes.
Crazy.
Right? This is where we hear miraculous stories of people that overcame cancer that they were told they had 6 months to live and they were still living. They developed a positive mindset. They believed in health, and they believed in the
component of faith, the spoken word of
the spoken word. So thoughts are really powerful in our mindset. And I learned from another coach that we have, who's also a pastor, a really great tool. And he teaches about the different levels of the brain. And I think you've seen this teaching where at the base level is just our lower brain that just keeps our heart beating and keeps us breathing. We're not even thinking about that. And then our midbrain is all about, really satisfying our appetites. I'm hungry, I need to go eat, or whatever. But our limbic brain, which he believes is where spirit lives.
That we don't access it enough
we don't access it enough. And the quickest and best way to access it is to take deep breaths. So that's why when you take deep, calming breaths before something, you're accessing spirit. It's really interesting. And when I am in my quiet time and I can't focus on just hanging out with God,
you breathe.
Take some deep breaths, and it's amazing. It just brings everything down, and you can connect with God in that way. So the spirit, there is a physical component to accessing spirit, I believe.
Absolutely.
That we have to pay attention to, and it has a lot to do with thought life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really
and the Bible says that the eye is the lamp of the body. And so our perspective on how we see things will really affect our whole body. And Jesus said, if your eye is full of light, or if your eye is full of light, then your whole body is full of light.
Yep,
right? So it really does matter. Our view on the world, our view on God, ourself, it's going to have physiological effects on our body down to the cellular level.
Yep.
You know?
Really, really good.
And faith is a way that expresses itself. I read a devotional called Yellow Balloons. It's really great. I read it almost every day. And one of the things he always talks about is how the angels are just watching. This one I read today is like, the angels are just sitting up in heaven with popcorn, watching humans.
Wow.
And are they going to choose faith? Because it's a unique thing that
That's
we
a cool
get
picture.
to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a choice.
Are you going to choose faith?
That's
So
really, really
good.
good.
Yeah, it was so
So
good.
good.
And it is. It's a choice. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of the physical things that we've talked about today can impact our ability to choose, really.
Yep.
If you're miserable and can't get out of bed, or you haven't slept, or you're fighting with your spouse, all the stuff we've talked about, it does make it difficult to choose well. and choose
Absolutely.
faith, right?
That's the challenge, right? Is
Yeah.
when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're
That's right.
stressed. It's really hard to make good choices
Yeah.
because you're not in the right mental state.
That's right.